Hey guys, so you seem to be loving the witchy book hauls that I've been doing recently, and I've got another stack of books down here that I've got to film for my next witchy book haul. I'm getting really into reading books at the moment, and you know my other channel where I read and talk about books all the time. I love doing that, so it's fun to get back into that, but I've also really been enjoying reading books on the craft and Wicca, paganism, anything to do with that, anything along those lines I've really been enjoying recently. So you guys seem to be liking the videos too, and I was just casually internet browsing, as you do, looking up books because there's some that I already knew that I wanted to buy, so trying to find them online. And then I come across a few books that aren't out yet, so I was like, oh, I have to remember to get that book when it comes out, and some of them were like this month, some of them were next month, and 2 of them are next year already. So I thought I'm never going to remember that, so I thought why not make a witchy books to pre-order video, because that way I'll have a record of the books that I want to buy when they come out. So here is just a little list of the books that I found online recently that are coming out in the next few months. Pretty much all of them are the last few months of this year, and like I said, 2 of them are in February next year and June next year, so it's quite a bit away for those ones, but these ones just looked pretty interesting. And there's about 11 or 12 books on this list. One of them is a kind of republished edition of an old book, but the rest of them are all brand new. So I'm going to do them in the order that they're going to come out, be published, and I've looked up the publishing dates for the UK and the US just to see if there was a little bit of difference in a couple of them, and I'm going to put pictures of the books up here because I love to get a visual of the cover as well. So the first book on the list is coming out on the 29th of August, and I think that is worldwide. I know that's definitely the publication date for the UK and the US, and it is called Basic Witches: How to Summon Success, Banish Drama and Raise Hell with Your Coven. And it's a little hardback by Jaya, Saxena and Jess Zimmerman, and this looks really cute. Like, look at the cover of this, it just looks so cute. I was browsing online and I saw the cover of this and I was like, that looks interesting, so I'm judging this book by this cover, hoping it's going to be a good one and live up to the standards that I have for it. And I will leave links in the description to where you can pre-order these books from. And the synopsis says, in Basic Witches, readers will discover how to tap into their inner sorceress and channel the dark arts for everything from cluttered apartments to dating disasters. Want to enhance your attractiveness? Pick up the right power colour of eyeshadow and project otherworldly glamour. Need to exercise a toxic friendship? Say the right symbolic curse and banish it from your life. Need to boost your self-confidence? Whip up a tasty herbal potion to strengthen your inner resolve, plus historical and pop culture sidebars that situate the new witchcraft trend within a broader context. With humour, heart and a hip modern sensibility, journalists Jaya, Saxena and Jess Zimmerman dispense witchy wisdom for the curious, the cynical and anyone who can use a magical boost to get through their day. This ain't your grandma's grimoire. That really cracked me up. Just reading the description of that was just like, I have to get this book. But the cover kind of reminds me of that, is it Wikipedia book, if you know what I'm talking about. I think I have it on my shelf. The cover kind of reminds me of this book. It's going to be the same, like a little hardback book, and it looks like it's going to be kind of the same style as this. Are they published by the same publishing house? They're not the same authors. No, this is Sterling Ethos and that's Quirk Books, so they are different, but they just kind of have similar aesthetics, I suppose. But I'm looking forward to that one. And that, yeah, that, like I said, that will be available on the 29th of August. The next book will be out on the 1st of September, and this is a picture of the cover, and it is called Old Style Conjure: Hoodoo, Rootwork and Folk Magic by Starr Casas. It is 256 pages and around $12.99 and is published by Red Wheel. Again, I was drawn to the cover of this. I thought this was pretty interesting, and I don't really know anything about hoodoo or rootwork or anything like that, so I am interested in those things and those aspects of the craft. but I literally know nothing about it. So I was reading about this book and it sounded quite good. I don't know any other books about this topic, so I thought this could be a nice introduction. And this says Conjure, Hoodoo, Rootwork. These are all names for Southern American folk magic. Conjure first emerged in the days of slavery and plantations and is widely considered among the most potent forms of magic. Its popularity continues to increase both in the United States and worldwide. This book is a guide to using Conjure to achieve love, success, safety, prosperity and spiritual fulfillment. Author Starr Casas, a hereditary master of the art, introduces readers to the history and philosophy of Conjure and provides practical information for using it. Featuring Casas's I'm so sorry if I'm saying that author's name wrong. Her own rituals, spells and home recipes, the book provides useful information suitable for novices and seasoned practitioners alike. In its pages you'll learn about bone reading, candle burning, conjure bags, building your own conjure altar, and then the synopsis seems to just finish there. But I thought this was a really great book. It sounded really good. Like I said, I don't know any good books on hoodoo or folk magic, so if you guys do, I mean, I'd love some recommendations, but I thought this was a good introduction. The next book is called A Little Bit of Wicca, an Introduction to Witchcraft, and this is published on the 5th of September in the UK and the 12th of September in the US. And when I saw the cover, this reminds me of the Wikipedia book, this one. And I believe, now I've just looked at the publisher, I believe they're published from the same company, Sterling Publishing Co. So it's probably going to look a little bit like this because it is a hardback as well, and they just look very similar if you see this comparison here. It is a hardback by Cassandra Eason. It is about $8.99 and it is published by Sterling Publishing Co. and it is 128 pages long. And it reads, Wicca is growing in popularity and Cassandra Eason, much admired for her writing on spiritual subjects, takes a look at its origins, its uses in everyday life and its gods and goddesses. She explains magic functions, how to create an altar and what tools you'll need, how to make your own spells, rituals and chants, how to find a coven and so much more. And I mean, I think it's going to be a pretty basic book, but I just liked the look of it and I just like reading things about Wicca, and I know there's like so many books that you can get on these different subjects, but I like getting multiple different ones from different authors and comparing them just to see what they say, see if there is like some correlation in what they're saying. So I thought that's only a cute little book. It's about $8.99, so I'm probably just gonna get that one. The next book comes out on the 19th of September and this is called The Green Witch, Your Complete Guide to the Natural Magic of Herbs, Flowers, Essential Oils and More, and this is by Arin Murphy-Hiscock. It is 256 pages long and I think this is around about $12.99, and it's, what a beautiful cover. I mean, I'm so drawn to things like natural and nature and just, it's just so green. I don't know it's called The Green Witch, but you know, still, it's really pretty. And that's going to be a hardback as well. And it reads, discover the power of natural magic and healing through herbs, flowers and essential oils in this new guide to green witchcraft, which is something that I'm getting really into at the moment, green witchcraft. So I'm discovering more and more. In my, I think it's about my third witchy book haul, I've got a lot of green witchcraft books because I'm just getting really into it at the moment. I think I've found my niche. But it says, anyway, continuing, it says, at her core, the Green Witch is a naturalist, a herbalist, a wise woman and a healer. She embraces the power of nature. She draws energy from the earth and the universe. She relies on natural objects like stones and gems to commune with the land that she lives off. She uses plants, flowers, oils and herbs for healing. She calls on nature for guidance and she respects every living being no matter how small. In The Green Witch, you'll learn the way of the Green Witch, how to use herbs, plants and flowers to make potions and oils for everyday healing, as well as how crystals, gems, stones and even twigs can help you find balance within. You'll discover how to find harmony in Earth's great elements, and you'll connect your soul to every living creature. This guide also contains directions for herbal blends and potions, ritual suggestions, recipes for sacred foods and information on how to listen to and commune with nature. Embrace the world of the Green Witch and discover what the power of nature has in store for you. See, this just sounds like the perfect book for me. It's one of those things where I was I was drawn to the cover again. I mean, there's not really a lot you can do when you don't know anything about the author or you've never had a series of these books before. So I was reading it, I was drawn to the cover, and then I read that, and it was one of those things that I read and I was like, wow, wow, wow. I was like, that just describes kind of me and my style of craft. So I just really excited for this book. Moving on to the month of October, the first book that is going to be published is called Santa Muerte. I cannot speak Spanish, I'm so sorry, but you guys should know what I mean, right? The History, Rituals and Magic of Our Lady of the Holy Death. This is paperback and it is by Tracey Rollin. It is 256 pages, around $12.99, and published by Red Wheel. And I think it comes out worldwide on the 1st of October. And this just this is something that I've been quite interested in, but have never really seen a lot of books on this subject before. I mean, there probably are like hundreds of books on this subject, but I've just never come across any of them. I thought this looks interesting, and the synopsis reads: Death welcomes everyone. This is the foundation for the veneration of Santa Muerte, or Holy Death. Considered to be the female personification of death, she is associated with protection and safe passage to the afterlife. She is also the patron saint of people who live on the fringes of society and often face violence and death. In recent years, her constituency has expanded to include the LGBT community and people who are marginalised or whose jobs put them at significant risk of death, such as military and police personnel. Santa Muerte is hailed as their potent and powerful protector, capable of delivering them from harm and even granting miracles. Santa Muerte is a complete ritual guide to working with this famous and infamous Mexican folk saint. It takes us beyond the sensational headlines to reveal the truth about why Santa Muerte is beloved by so many. Author Tracey Rollin presents simple, straightforward methods for working with holy death that may be used alone or easily incorporated into your own magical practice. And I'm so sorry if I'm butchering Our Lady of Holy Death's name in Spanish. I apologise, but I'm hoping it's not too butchered. But that just sounds fascinating to me. I watched a documentary a while ago, and it was about how she is with basically people on the fringes, how she is their, like, basically their saint and their idol, and it was about how she's holding their hand through all of this turmoil that's going through their life. And it was so fascinating that it's something that I've really wanted to get into a lot more. And I think at Halloween last year there were these sugar skulls everywhere. It just became really like appropriated for just Halloween, and it was something that I was really thinking about, and I wanted to know more about it because I didn't really know the whole history and the culture of the sugar skulls. So that kind of led me into like the whole Mexican folk thing. So I think this is going to be a really interesting book, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. And again, the cover art is beautiful. The next book is already available to buy in the United States. It came out in May, but in the UK it comes out on the 8th of October. I already have a book by this author, Richard Webster. So when I saw that this was by him, and I recognised they've kind of kept the cover art the same, so it's got like a theme running through it. So when I saw that, I was like, that looks familiar. And then I read his name, and then I realised I've already got one of his books, which I really enjoyed. This one is titled Amulets and Talismans for Beginners: How to Choose, Make and Use Magical Objects, and it's paperback. It's about $12.99, and the other book I have on him is the Rituals for Beginners, and this was a really helpful book. And it's not even just like witchy rituals, it just kind of shows you like the rituals that we have in everyday like mundane life that we maybe don't realise are rituals. So this was a really good book and really like just well described. So I'm looking forward to getting this book because I love it when I find an author and they have more topics that I can discover, and I like the way it's written. But itchy nose, I can't do my Samantha wiggle. No, see, like I wiggle my mouth, not my nose. It just doesn't work. The synopsis reads: improve your life and your practice with the power of amulets, talismans, charms, and other magical objects. This accessible guide, now back in print with a new cover, features everything you need to know to find, make, and use many different items from around the world, including birthstones, four-leaf clovers, and even yantras. don't think I'm saying that right. Best-selling author Richard Webster shows you in his famous step-by-step manner how to create, charge, purify and empower your items for a variety of purposes such as attracting love and attaining wealth. Amulets and Talismans for beginners also offer a dictionary of lucky charms from acorns to wishbones. See, that's just so cool. With the help of this inviting book, magical objects will become a beneficial part of your life. And I didn't actually know that this is a new publication of it. I thought it was a brand new book, but it must have been out before, which is quite interesting that they're giving it a new revised cover. So I suppose it matches this, but I wouldn't have discovered this book otherwise. So you could probably get an older version of this cheaper if you wanted to. It is around $12.99 and is 264 pages long and published by Llewellyn. 264 pages, so I'm looking forward to reading that one. The next book is out on the 7th of November worldwide, and this is called Rituals and Sabbats, Sacred Rites and Seasonal Celebrations. It's a hardback by Lady Passion, and again, beautiful cover. I mean, come on, like, I know they say don't judge a book by their cover, but you know, you've got to sometimes. It's very pretty. Draws you in, like somebody at that it's the same publishing house, Sterling Publishing Co. They seem to be trying to rival Llewellyn. Most books I see are published by Llewellyn, but now this is 3 books. 2 in this like pre-order book haul that are by Sterling Publishing Co. And it reads, An authoritative guide to the most important days of the witch year. A witch's ritual creates a spiritual atmosphere where magic can happen, and in this guide to the most sacred days of the witch year reveals just how that magic comes about. Written by the High Priest and Priestess of Coven Oldenwild, this guide outlines the dates, meanings and ideas behind the 8 annual pagan Sabbats and monthly Esbats, when covens gather to cast spells. New and would-be Wiccans will also learn sacred etiquette and how to erect an altar, cultivate a powerful magic persona and ritual voice, create a private group, carry out public rituals and much more. So that sounded quite interesting, and I didn't know it was written by the High Priest and Priestess of a Coven, so that's quite cool. I mean, I haven't really read a lot of books like that, and I'm fascinated by books that talk about the Sabbats and Esbats, so this is my thing, you know, it's my jam. And it's one of the things that I'm really interested in and really enjoy reading about, and it's one of the things that I'm writing a lot about in my Book of Shadows, because they're my kind of big things that I do to celebrate this path. The last book that is published in November is published worldwide on the 21st of November, and this is from a series of books that I have been buying a lot recently. I discovered in the last month or 2, and I've been getting these books slowly, and this is called The Modern Witchcraft Guide to the Wheel of the Year, From Samhain to Yule, Your Guide to the Wiccan Holidays, Modern Witchcraft. This is a hardback by Judy and Nock. It's about $12.99. And it is 240 pages, and I really enjoy these books. They're just so beautiful, like, oh, so good. And it says, from the Modern Witchcraft series comes a complete guide to all of the sacred days and holidays of the Wiccan calendar, with spells, rituals and other tips to celebrate. In the Modern Witchcraft Guide to the Wheel of the Year, you'll learn about the most celebrated days in the Wheel of the Year: Samhain, the end of the harvest season; Yule, the celebration of the new year; Imbolc, the celebration of rebirth; Starr, the arrival of spring; Beltane, the celebration of Earth's fertility; Letha, the song of summer; Lunasa, the halfway point between summer and autumn; and Mabon, the festival of home and harvest. For each of these special days there will be information about the history and its meaning and the ways you can fully celebrate. Each chapter describes the celestial events associated with the Sabbath, astrological influences during that time, meditation rituals, and I really need to itch my nose. Oh, I forgot such an itchy nose. It would be great if I... Meditation rituals and charms to perform. Oh, it's still itching. I'm so weird. It also includes a practical craft, such as candle making, that you can create to celebrate each day. The Modern Witchcraft Guide to the Wheel of the Year is your complete guide to everything you need to know to celebrate the Wheel of the Year and the Wiccan Sabbats from Yule to Samhain as a part of your own spiritual practice. And it's published by Adams Media Corporation. It sounds really official, corporation. But again, I really enjoy learning about the Wheel of the Year, and these kind of reminds me of the Llewellyn Sabbat essentials that I've got, and you can see them on my shelf. Oh, there, little books on each of the Sabbats in themselves. So this is kind of having all of those in one book, which I think is quite cool. Now the next book is a bit different because this is a republication, a modern version cover of this book. I think it was first released in the early 2000s or late 1990s, and it is called The Healing Craft, Healing Practices for Pagans. It's paperback by Janet Farah and Gavin Bone. It's 272 pages, but I've got a lot of different dates for this to be published. One of them says it's being published in the UK on the 1st of September, and the other few websites I checked said it is published in the UK and the US on the 31st of December. So I'm not too sure, but this is an old book, so you can pick up an older copy of it, but I read about it and it sounded really interesting, and then I discovered that it is already out, but I just kind of like the cover on this one a bit better. This is the old cover, and it says, an invaluable guide for those seeking to practice healing from a holistic pagan point of view. This book is the first work of its kind aimed towards the neo-pagan market. It is both academic and practical, including all the necessary information required to be a healer and specific sections designed to increase skills in several different healing modalities. The book gives the Western medical viewpoint along with contemporary alternative therapies, and the subjects discussed include spiritual healing, massage and aromatherapy, shamanistic and magical healing practices, counselling with tarot and past life regression, and last rites. The authors explain what readers will need to learn to heal others effectively, while offering basic practical skills, making the Healing Craft a useful guide to anyone interested in contemporary therapies. So publisher Marion Street Press Incorporated. So I thought this sounded really good, and the whole healing thing, aromatherapy, and stuff like that, spiritual healing, is something that I'm getting really interested in. I think maybe from this past year's experience is something that has made me kind of go this way and want to know more about. But it just seems like a really interesting book. Final two books, can you believe, are going to be published in 2018, so next year, and it just seems crazy that they've got books already on the websites for 2018. I mean, this year has flown by, but the first one will be released in the UK and the US on the 23rd of February, and it is called Witchcraft Into the Wilds. It is a paperback by Rachel Patterson. It is 240 pages, and for once I wasn't actually drawn to the cover. There was no cover image on the website that I was looking on, so I was drawn to the title of this book, and it says, Witchcraft Into the Wilds leads us through the wilds of nature and back to the roots and bones of witchcraft, a natural witchcraft that works with the seasons and all the natural items that Mother Nature provides, drawing on magical folklore and a bit of gypsy magic too. No fancy tools or ceremony rituals, this is about working with the source. Mother Earth provides us with the changing of the seasons, and within that turning of the years she gives us everything we need to work magic with, from natural energy in the form of storms, rain and sunshine, to tangible items packed full of magical energy such as seeds, leaves and stones. That again is going into the natural witchcraft side of things, and I just really like that, and it's just something that just seems so fun and so in tune with what I want to do. So that just seems the perfect book for me, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Publisher John Hunt Publishing, so I'm looking forward to that one. And last but not least, our final book, can you believe it, is going to be published on the 21st of June. 21st of June, that's a good day for a book about witches to be published. But this is called The Witch's Spellbook, Enchantments, Incantations and Rituals from Around the World, by Sarah Bartlett. It's a hardback, it's 176 pages, and it's about $10.99. And the synopsis reads, magic is in every part of the living world. One just needs to know how to tap into it. The Witch's Spellbook is a powerful collection of spells, rituals and enchantments that you can use to tap into your intuition and the power of the natural world. This book reveals how, by casting spells that align to the cycles of nature and the universe, you can begin to manifest your dreams and shape your destiny. Organised by topics such as spells for prosperity, charms for body, beauty and sex, or enchantments for creativity and charisma, each spell draws upon world traditions, sacred holidays and lunar events such as solstices and equinoxes. Whether you are new or experienced, this is every person's guide to practical magic. It's published by Fair Winds Press. So this sounds like a good book too, and again it's that natural world vibe that I'm going for, and it's around £10.99. So I hope you enjoyed this list of books that I'm going to definitely be pre-ordering, and if you guys are interested in looking at any more about these books, I've left links in the description. I'm loving these book hauls, but one of the things it means is I really seriously need to reorder my shelves so I've got more space for the books. I've kind of started reorganising the bottom shelf because I had some boxes down there that I've moved, and I'm starting a, oh, I twist this way, starting a shelf of the books that I've bought recently. But I'm thinking about reorganising my books in different sections of the craft, so maybe I'll do a reorganisation video too, but I hope you've enjoyed it. I'd love to know if there's any books that you're definitely going to pre-order out of this list, or in general that you know of that are coming out soon. And yeah, see you guys soon. Bye.